Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Today we are talking about escalation rules and how they can be used in Salesforce. So let's jump straight in. Escalation rules are really useful if a case has gone wrong, or not wrong, I should say, if a case hasn't been responded to for a while, or maybe if a certain partner is like a gold partner versus a bronze partner, then maybe you respond to these cases differently. Maybe one has a shorter response time than the other, and you want to be notified if you're getting close to that response time and nothing's happened, or if you pass that response time, then maybe it should get escalated and go to a manager. Or maybe a case is just really difficult, and then you can escalate it from there. So let's jump into our setup menu, and to start, we need to look up escalation. This is going to bring up our escalation rules. So just make sure if your computer's like mine, you think calming thoughts. All right, escalation rules, here we go. Now, escalation rules are actually very similar to our assignment rules. If you were looking at the assignment rule video that we had, or you've used assignment rules, they're really, really similar. So we have one overarching rule. You can only have one overarching rule active at a time. But within this, we have a whole bunch of different rule entries. And it's these rule entries where the actual deciding factor about how this is escalated happens. So in here, you can see that our first one, these are some examples from Salesforce, is that if the billing country equals USA and the account is platinum and the priority of the case equals high, then they're going to do some stuff. And that's the first one to be checked, which makes sense because that sounds like premium customers right there. So if we click edit, we can find a bit more about this rule and how it works. All right, so it says escalator at 2 hours and 0 minutes, and the escalation is being assigned to myself. It's going to email me, it's going to notify me, and this is the template that it's going to use. All right. Well, now we can create our own one of these. It's always a good idea to create your own one. So we're just going to go back. You can click the back button up there. And I'm going to create a new one, and let's just have a look at how we can create these. All right, so maybe we put this one at, I'm going to say just number 10. Hopefully that's down the bottom somewhere. All right, and if this criteria is met, maybe we'll say if the, where are we, case, I'm just having a look at what we can put here. If the case, where was country? ABC, contact. You see there's a lot of different things here. All right, here we go. If the account, where are we? Billing country is equal to NZ. All right, and maybe the case priority is equal to high. So I'm just searching that one up here in my pick list values. Just taking its own sweet time today. That's okay. Then once you've got your criteria sorted, you've done the step 2, then you can specify the business hours to help with this escalation rule. Now, what the business hours means is when are you counting this time? So if you set your business hours in Salesforce to be 9 to 5, but you say you're going to respond within 24 hours, well, they're only going to count the 24 hours in your business hours. So if you set it as 9 to 5, then 24 hours won't actually be exactly 24 hours. It will be 24 hours within 9 to 5. So that might actually take 3 days to get to, instead of 1 day, 24 hours. So you could ignore business hours, you could use your business hours, or you could set business hours. Then you can specify how the escalation times are set. Do you start the timer when the case is created, and then disable it after the case is modified, or based on the last modification time? I might say based on the last modification time. So we're saying that some action has to have happened on this case since it was last modified. So we can save that rule there, which kind of creates our entry, all right? But then we need some actions. So then what happens once a case enters into this rule and meets those conditions? then we need to set a time after which we will take some action. So maybe for me, it's actually something like maybe it's 8 hours, right? Or 8 30 minutes. So that would need 16. There you go, 16. So 8 hours. And then you can also reassign the cases. So maybe you reassign it to another user, or maybe you just notify someone. Maybe you send that person a notification. Maybe you send a manager a notification. Maybe you just notify the case owner. Hey, you haven't responded to this for 8 hours. And you could email a bunch of the other team as well. Depends on what your policies are, depends on how the business rules are, whatever your business is running. But once you're happy with that, you can go ahead and save it. Whoops, daisies. If you're notifying someone, you will need an email template. I'm just going to pop in a random one there. All right, give that a save. Awesome. And then make sure that you always test this. You know, if you're thinking, I don't want to wait 16 hours for that, maybe test it overnight, or maybe just run it for a minute and test it for a minute and see if it works. You don't have to be testing it for the whole time. It would be a very slow process to be able to do that. But yeah, I hope that taught you a little bit more about escalation rules. They're really, really useful. They take away a lot of the tracking and the constant stress that often people feel who are dealing with cases and solving cases. It's never an easy job, so whatever we can do to make it easier, I think is worth it. So hopefully this was useful. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you would like to see here. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for now. Bye.